Healthcare. Now, this one's going to get questionable because the big selling point for Canada is, oh, you get free healthcare. Free doesn't mean good. I'll give you an example. A buddy of mine, his wife pulled her hamstring, needed to get imaging done. The doctors were like, yeah, we can schedule you in, but it's going to take 11 or 12 months. And he's like, I'm not waiting 11 or 12 months with her hobbling around on a cane or whatever. Like, I've got a business to run. She has a business to run. We got to get this fixed. Like, can we get her in sooner? Nah, there's a wait, Imaging's going to take 11, 12 months. So he asks around, finds a clinic in Buffalo. It's hour and a half drive from Toronto. Goes down to Buffalo for the day, spends like $280 for the imaging, gets an opinion from a doctor, and is back home within 24 hours and has a solution to the problem for less than $300. But the Canadian government, this is just Canadian government, doesn't even include the provinces, manages to spend $253.2 billion fucking dollars on healthcare that isn't even run properly. We have the lowest paid medical professionals pretty much in the developed world. A lot of our medical professionals, our doctors, go down to the States because they get paid way more. And there's wastefulness in this. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch of question marks in here, but I know for certain this could be fucking fixed. Equalization payments to the other provinces. So the federal government has determined there's provinces in Canada that are the haves versus the have-nots. $94.6 billion is being sent to the have-not provinces. So as an example, a have-not province would be an eastern province in Canada, like Newfoundland, for example. It's not the best place to live. It's cold as fuck in the winter, even colder than it is in Toronto. And again, because the government's not utilizing its natural resources properly, they have to send equalization payments to the province so that they can take care of the people that live there with more social programs. I don't buy this. This could be cut in half easily. Very easily. I'm going to put a 3 there and I'll put a whole bunch of question marks after that. Then there's $32 billion sent to the Indigenous communities. Some people might get mad at me about this, but look, I remember I was on a date once with this girl who was Indigenous. I think her mom was Native. And she was telling me that she doesn't pay any taxes at all. I don't know if she doesn't pay any taxes at all on everything across the board, on income and fuel and GST and capital gains tax, or what the truth that happens to be. But I would take that deal all fucking day long and have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up and not say anything else. I would be happy as hell not to pay any taxes as a domestic, as a native. I'm not sure what $32 billion fucking dollars is being used on, but I got a lot of questions about that. Abortions, $1 billion on family planning clinics. I got some fucking questions about that under Trudeau's government. COVID vaccination. You want to take a guess what they spent in the last year? $9 billion putting this bullshit thing in everybody that doesn't do anything. That's gone. That's out of the fucking picture. And then funding to the CBC, which is the Canadian Broadcast Corporation, receives the tune of $1.3 billion from the federal government to help them run their business, which they can't even run it efficiently or effectively, to essentially amplify the federal government's notion. You know what I think about that? Deleted. Fuck you. If you can't run your business properly as a media company, fail. Go out of business. I don't care. You can get your news and media from social media now. You can go to Twitter X. You can go to Facebook. You can find out what you want to find out, right? The federal government doesn't need to spend money to tell people what to believe. The only time that's required is if you want to run a regime, if you want to run a dictatorship and control the hearts and minds of people, which is what brings me down over here, because I wanted to find out how much the Canadian government has spent on the COVID scamdemic. And that came into the tune of almost $360 billion that they had to pump out to people to either stay home, to take vaccinations, for vax passport programs, for enforcement, blah, 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 blah. Whatever they ended up pumping out in the economy. So it was $360 billion fucking dollars. Anyway, that would get deleted. So I've just cut $140 billion out of the budget by deleting some junk that doesn't need to be there, which doesn't even bring us back up to par with the 473 billion in federal income that comes in, which will be fixed over time with natural resources and the proper management and extraction and sales of natural resources. China and Europe has a huge demand for natural gas. Canada has a vast quantity, vast reserve of natural gas. And as you've probably heard, it's cold here in the wintertime, so it's pretty easy to liquefy natural gas in a cold climate. So you can liquefy it, ship it, give China what they need, give Europe what they need. Apparently, Europe built an entire port, as I understand it, to receive and transport in natural gas from Canada, which we're not even extracting yet. So in advance or in anticipation of receiving natural gas from Canada, the Europeans have built a facility on the west coast of Europe to receive it. I'm not sure if it's Germany or Holland or one of these other countries, but they essentially built a facility to receive it. And we're not pumping it out. We're not extracting it. We're not shipping it yet because we've got a mentally retarded federal government that thinks that the earth is melting and the glaciers are all going to fill the seas and the baby polar bears and swans are all going to die, which was absurd. It's not true, right? The climate crisis, the whole carbon tax thing that Trudeau's been running on, story's done, pal. It's over. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.